20 minutes before 8. A fortnight ago, the Competition Commission found that international and local banks colluded to manipulate foreign currency trades. The Commission recommended a 10% fine on their annual turnover. This was a Deja Vu moment for those who could recall what happened in 2001 when the rand collapsed from R7.60 to R13.84 to the US dollar. Kevin Wakeford blew the whistle on three big corporates and a global bank of manipulation in the currency markets. As a result of his intervention, President Mbeki set up a Rand Commission to investigate the claims, but Kevin lost his job. Kevin Wakeford is joining us now from our Cape Town studios. Kevin, it's good to have you. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, Leanne, and hi to the listeners.
Good morning. Sorry, I said the Cape Town studios, but it's definitely not. You're in Pretoria. I can see the Union buildings glaringly behind you. Kevin, talk to us about your reaction from the findings with the collusion of the banks. I mean, how did it make you feel?
Well, Leanne, I think it concerns most South Africans. You know, when one trades in whatever part of the economy, one wants to know that one's money is safe and that one's dealing with honest individuals and honest institutions that are transparent and accountable. And clearly, we still have problems within the banking system and the financial services sector. And I think all South Africans must work hard to find a path that will work for all concerned.
Yeah. Take us back to the circumstances at the time. What did you know? And what did you do about it?
Well, I was approached by somebody who was operating deep within the financial services sector. They provided me with information that had been reported to the authorities already, including the Reserve Bank. And I had to make a judgment call as to whether I acted on that information. It seemed highly credible. And I handed it over to, at that time, the presidency. And the President instituted a judicial commission of inquiry within days of that taking place. Unfortunately, the commission was prematurely closed down. And you know, one even had dissension amongst the commissioners. Christine Kunter wrote a minority report recommending criminal prosecution and criminal investigations. But nothing happened. The then Minister of Justice closed down the commission. And subsequent to that, one also saw a book coming out written by the late Barry Sargent, which is, I believe, a very good expose of what really took place.
Yeah. I mean, you know, after your expose, and it was highly publicized at the time, you lost your job as the chief executive of the South African Business Chamber. Now this Rand Commission comes out with its findings. You know, let's talk through that, from what you unveiled to actually what's been found now.
Well, you know, it's not exactly the same, Lee. It's definitely delinquency in the markets, but what one experienced in that era was more an illegal externalization of capital and a number of machinations around that, whereas this is, you know, a broad-based currency manipulation in terms of price fixing and quoting of fictitious prices to purchasers and sellers. So it's different, but the same symptomatic manifestations are taking place within the markets. And in this particular case, it's the Competitions Act that's been applied and not the general framework of financial services regulations.
You know, we don't obviously understand it. The average person finds it very, very difficult to understand something like this. Obviously, those that are involved in markets and forex trading, they do understand it. But for the ordinary South African, how does it affect us when you manipulate that currency? Obviously, it's an increase in a lot of things, but just talk to us about the man on the street and how it affects all of us.
Well, you know, if currency prices are being fixed, and perhaps on the lower end rather than the higher end, then the rand's value ultimately is impacted. And one would argue, and there are many arguments around how that can happen, but ultimately if you look at a pattern over, say, the last 10 years, generally there's been a trend to a weakening currency. Now, what does that mean for ordinary South Africans? It means that in the light of a global economy, all prices are dollar-based, whether we like it or not, whether it be for steel or sugar or petrol or diesel or gold or wheat or maize. All those prices are not set in South Africa. They're set globally, and then you convert those prices to rands. So as the rand weakens, so South Africans get poorer. Their disposable income weakens. They can buy less with their salaries, and of course their balance sheets start to shrink. So if you value your balance sheet in dollars, you're actually getting poorer. The value of all your assets over time is getting less and less. But the most important thing, Leanne, is ordinary South Africans are trying to put food on the table.
Yeah.
And as the rand weakens, so their ability to purchase what they used to is diminished, and they're seeing less and less for their rand, or bang for their buck, as many people put it.
Yeah. Just finally, you know, at this point, it looks like the banks are guilty as charged, even though there's still an investigation underway, and it's got to go through a court. But Citibank's already agreed to pay an administrative penalty of 69.5 million rand for being part of this cartel. Do you in any way feel vindicated from this now?
Leanne, that's not important, and that's certainly not my mission. I think what is important is that we get the system right, and that we operate within an honest and open environment. All South Africans are asking for is to be treated fairly and honestly. And when you deposit money at a bank, or whether you conduct an investment or a currency trade, whatever it is, you want to know you've been looked after, because that's where you keep your money and that's where you transact.
All right. You have to leave it there, unfortunately, Kevin. But thanks for coming in. Thanks for explaining from your perspective, and also the magnitude of something like this, fixing a currency, and what it means for you and I. It's a very, very big issue. That was Kevin Wakeford. He was talking to us from our Pretoria studios. He was the whistleblower at the time when he saw there was manipulation happening in the currency.